What's up, everybody? Welcome to season 2 of the Level Up Your Life podcast. I am your host, Billy Anderson, and I am glad to be back. We took about a 5 or 6 month hiatus from recording. Some of that was intentional. More of it was unintentional. And I'm going to share a little bit of that with you guys over the first few episodes and some of the lessons I've learned over the past 6 months and the first half of 2021. And I hope to share some lessons learned with you guys to help you guys learn how to avoid these types of mistakes and prevent, and kind of just expedite the learning curve for you and help you level up in these areas that I had to level up in over the last few months, but hopefully help you level up without having to make the mistakes that I made. And so, we're excited for season 2, and I want to kind of just lay the foundation for season 2 for you real quick. So, we're definitely going to be having episodes like this. We are committed to a weekly episode. We'll have some solo episodes. A lot of times I was rolling out 5 or 6 minute episodes. We're going to focus more on 10 to 20 minute long episodes once a week. Now, I may drop some other shorter ones because, sometimes I got something on my chest and I want to get it off, but I want to make sure that I'm bringing value to our audience and actually bringing your substance. And so, we're going to be doing that. We also have another podcast launching that's going to be a little bit more geared towards marketing and business specific topics around marketing. So we'll be announcing that in the next couple of weeks. But for my episodes, we're going to also be interviewing guests. And, a lot of times in the past, we've gone into, where did it start and your background, but we're going to jump into specific topics that they're really just monsters at and get a little bit more substance based, a little less story based and more substance based in season 2. And, that was some feedback that I got from all of you, or from many of you, I should say. And I thank you for that. And I heard it, and I want to adjust here in season 2. So we're really excited. We're in a brand new studio. And so it's really exciting to be in this new space. So as we begin to record, this will be the one episode that we do not record. Even my solo episodes, we will have visuals around because we want to maximize content. And so I want to be able to show you guys some of the steps that we're doing in building my personal brand and building other brands through some of the content plays that we're doing over the next few months. So we're going to be doing a lot through showing you how to record an episode, how to really produce and put out a podcast as well. So watch me over the next 6 months as we really scale up this podcast and do some exciting things around the content. So excited to share with you guys that. We want to help you level up, not just through the vocabulary, through the verbal communication that we have, but also through the visuals that we're able to put out and show you. Watch the actions that we're going to take over the next 6 months, because this is a great way to be able to build and grow your personal brand. So, that's kind of setting the intention for season 2. We're going to bring a lot of value. We're going to bring back some guests that have been doing some amazing things since the last time they were on, but also highlighting and bringing in some amazing new guests to share value at a different level. And so we have some absolute monsters that we're going to be recording with over the next few weeks and months. So I'm excited to bring to you guys a weekly episode that's going to be packed full of value. So stay tuned for season 2 of the Level Up Your Life podcast. But so today's episode is going to be kind of the main lesson that I learned over the last 6 months. And so I want to share a little bit to be able to provide the value in the lesson. I got to give you a little background about kind of what happened. So, beginning of 2021, I had a locked in plan. We had went to Tahoe, spent almost a week there, goal planning, strategizing for 2021. That was my wife and I, and we really had this plan. And, one of my big things was in 2020, I had made some either time investments or financial investments into some businesses that I believed were great opportunities. And, I had placed my bets, and for those bets to pay off, I believed that I wasn't going to be able to make any bets in 2021. And I was going to really have to pour into those businesses. I had great business partners in those businesses. Everything was laid out for me to be able to really pour the time that I had into those businesses, but then also be able to give a tremendous amount of time to not only level up society, but more importantly, to go fresh and really take it to the next level. We wanted to move into the 8-figure realm with that brand and take it into the $10 to $12 million range. And so I was really focused on that. And then, early February, plans changed. One of my business partners and I, in the marketing agency we launched, decided to part ways. And, it was for the best for both of us, and, I'm happy for him to go in the direction he's going in. And I'm excited to be in the direction that we're going in. But, it was unexpected. And so, we had clients, we had commitments to them. And, launching an agency was a big part of the long-term play, because this was a piece of the pie to being able to supply marketing resources for all the brands that I was investing in and being a partner in. So this was something that we needed to be the motor, right? So I didn't want to lose the momentum we had going in the agency. So I decided to continue running the agency. We rebranded it to the Level Up Group, which is now going to be our investment fund and marketing agency, really. So our business development company. All right. And so we're going to have different arms of that business. One will be the fund, one will be the agency. And so under the Level Up Group, we're going to do a lot of really exciting things. So, but at the time this was passed to me, it was like, oh my gosh, like, what are we going to do? And, I was preparing to go to Driven, an event by my good friend Albert Preciado's, that he hosted. And so Albert was hosting this amazing event. And, I was like, man, like, can I even go to this event? More importantly, right after that, we were leaving for Cabo, with my good friend Willie Escobar and his amazing wife, Christine Escobar. And so we were, about to head out to Cabo, spending roughly 12 days on the road, when a business was being basically, put back into my hands, and I was starting it from, in essence, scratch. It was really just me and myself and all these clients. And so there was this moment where it was like sink or swim, and I could have either sat there and lingered on it, missed this amazing trip that we had with our good friends and became better friends over that trip. And, I just, it was this moment where I had to make a decision. And so today's subject or lesson is really about the decision, because, in this moment, I could have lingered. And I told my business partner, I said, hey, look, I understand, the predicament. Give me 24 hours. Let me make a decision. I'll come back to you. And I had to weigh the options. I had to eliminate the emotions, and I had to really look at the data. What are my goals? What is the long-term play? Do I have the time? Do I have somebody to move into the role of CEO for GoFresh? Because we have big goals there, and I can't lose that momentum, because I have a commitment not only to myself, to the investors, to our team. So we've got big goals, and so I can't slow that momentum down. But I also have commitment to these clients, and I also have long-term goals that this business plays a part in. And so I could either miss this trip because I was, and whether I actually physically went, I could be mentally not there because I'm stressing. Excuse me. And I decided to make a decision. I said, okay, I got to sleep on it. I slept on it, woke up. Okay, this is what we're going to do. I texted the business partner or the ex-business partner. I said, hey, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take over the business. Give me 30 days. I'm going to rebrand. We're going to move forward in this direction. I want you to have the name because that was your name. But more importantly, I got to go in this direction, right? I'm going to take care of the clients. I'll communicate with them. Boom. And in that, that week, we took a deep breath. I refreshed because I knew it was going to be a run, an absolute run. And, we went into this absolute sprint, and I told my wife coming back from Cabo, I said, and big shout out to Willie, because Willie helped me really walk through this and create clarity. I always talk about clarity brings confidence. And so, a major shout out to Willie for the what he was able to provide for me, in that time of just, being able to bounce ideas off of and confirmation, and also to bring a different level of perspective. And so, this is your advisory board, right? When you're an entrepreneur, you need an advisory board. A lot of time we talk about mentors, and mentors are important, but there's something different than when somebody's trying to coach you. And Willie wasn't trying to coach me in that moment. He was trying to be my advisor, right? And so I think this is an important point of being an advisory board. He wasn't trying to give me, hey, Billy, you should think like this. He was like, giving me perspectives. Well, have you thought about this idea? And it was more of my partner than my coach, and that was a different level, right? And so he was helping me work it through versus like teaching me. He was helping me work it out, and because we were able to work it out, I came back clear. We landed here in the United States. I said, Naomi, okay, it's ready to go. We're ready to go. I'm stepping down. I'm going to step into this role. I actually really stepped up, right, into this role of president. I was president and CEO before. Now I'm just president and co-founder. And this could be the visionary role. And because the agency is going to be better, we're going to actually be the bigger motor for GoFresh, and we're going to be able to help it scale up even bigger. And, it was because of all this stuff that Willie helped me gain clarity on. There was a lot of ideas stirred up at Driven. And this all happened, like I would have missed Driven and missed the opportunity to have that cultivation period with Willie, of not only our friendship, but of this business idea. And I would have missed out on both of those if I had not made a decision, because I wouldn't have been present at Driven to learn the information and hear from people like Brad Lee and Billie Jean and Carlos Muñez and all these amazing speakers, right? I would have missed out on all that valuable information, the information that helped me work out and confirm this decision. But because, I made that decision, I was open and I was present. But if I hadn't made that decision, I would have not been there. I would have been there physically, but not been there mentally. And I would have missed out on all this valuable information. So in life, we're often distracted by the lack of decisions we're willing to make. And so as leaders, as entrepreneurs, we need to have the ability to have confidence around the decision making that we have, right? Because of the ability that I had, and this is because I'm a seasoned entrepreneur, I'm pattern recognition. I know that I've got to make these decisions. I got to make them quick because, slow money don't make money, right? And it's like slow decisions don't make good money or good results. And so I had to make that decision because we had clients, we had commitments. And because I made that decision, I was able to, hear the information I needed to at Driven, go to Cabo, have those conversations with Willie that were able to allow those ideas to blossom into reality, and then allow me to be able to spend the last 4 months working hand in hand with our CEO at GoFresh, Ishmael Flores, and being able to help develop him and him become just an absolute, just a tremendously better leader, and just constantly on this road to development, helping, bring up JP Pentela, which, he is one of our digital manager, which really our COO, he's second in command, and he's evolved into a whole new monster. I mean, he is just absolutely freaking crushing it. And so we have this next layer of leaders that have stepped up and allowed things to run even better at GoFresh and more consistently. And now our agency is dialed in, and they're cranking things up at even a higher level at GoFresh. So the marketing is even dialed in. So GoFresh is running even better because I made the decision, right? So the agency is cranking. GoFresh is cranking. The businesses I've invested in are benefiting from the agency being working. Other clients of ours that we're working with are benefiting from the agency, but it all comes around the decision. So when we are faced with a difficult, challenging time, it's the quickness in the decision, right? Now, here's the thing, right? Speed around decisions need to be based upon data. Not because you want to make a quick decision, right? A quick decision is not the good decision, right? And so we don't want to waste time around decision making, but we want to make sure that we make the right decision. Like I said, give me 24 hours. Let me, regurgitate all what you just told me. Let me process it. Let me figure it out, right? Let me come up with the data, right? Eliminate emotion. But when we stay in that emotional state, sometimes we either make a quick decision because we're like, I don't want to be slow. But then we make a quick decision, which is the worst decision. And then that actually ends up being the slow decision because we end up making bad, or it leads to bad results, right? So we want to make a fast decision, but we don't want to make a rush decision, right? We want to be able to process it. We want to be able to, run through the data, and when we look at that, like I said, I had to look at my long-term goals. I had to look at do I have the pieces of the pie at GoFresh or pieces of the puzzle at GoFresh to even be able to put into a CEO role and a COO role, right? If I'm going to move Ishmael into my role, who's going to replace Ishmael? And so we had to move some things around to be able to make that happen. But we had the people to be able to make that happen, right? I had to have the time. I had to have the training system. We had to identify all this. And once I identified that not only do we have it, but that I could execute on it, that's when I was able to say, okay, I'm confident I can do this. But we have to run through that. Do we have the tools, the people, the resources, right? Do we have the money? Do we have the time? Do we have these things? Because often we want to hire 10 people, but we don't even have that freaking time to be able to train them and develop them. And then we get frustrated because they don't turn out to do good, or they don't do a good job, and they don't turn out to be what we wanted them to be, but we never even poured into them so they could become the person. And it's often because we rush the decision. So we want to make a quick decision, but we want to make the right decision, right? Because we don't want to be slow, but we don't want to rush where we make the bad decision, which ends up leading to the slow decision, right? So ultimately, guys, be quick in decision, but be logical. Run through that steps, right? Is this actually serving me? Is this a decision that's going to move us forward? Or is this something that's going to keep us in place? Often we're so caught up into should I do this thing or should I not? And we spend more time stressing on whether we should or shouldn't that we end up not doing anything. And that is time wasted. And that's what I'm talking about making a slow decision. And, and just like the same, that slow decision kills you, but also making the quick decision with no data behind it is also the bad decision as well, and the slow decision. So ultimately, guys, you got to focus on making the data-driven decisions, and you got to make them quick and be confident in them, because once you run through and you know that you have the resources, the tools, the people to be able to execute on these decisions, then you need to make a move and make a move quick. Because once you know that you can do it, you got to move. You got to move, because the speed, once it's been confirmed, is the key to the high level execution. And that's what's allowed us over the last 5 months to really be able to build the foundation for something that's going to be special here at the Level Up Group. So I'm excited over the next 6 months to not only show you through the podcast some amazing things about building your brand, but we're going to also show you some behind the scenes stuff here at the Level Up Group. We're going to give you a lot of access, a lot of information around marketing. So I'm excited to show you guys that. Also, GoFresh is going to begin shipping over the next month, and we'll be shipping all over California and expanding in the 8 most Western states. So keep an eye out for that, because you're definitely going to want to grab GoFresh meals, because we are providing some of the best food on this planet, but we've only been keeping it here in Northern California. So we're excited to share it to all of California and eventually all of the United States. So guys, I'm excited to be back. Obviously, you can hear the energy. It's July 1st. It's the beginning of the second half of the year. What are we going to do? Are we going to go out there and dominate? Or are we going to sit back and let the second half of the year fall by the wayside? Remember, I said, there are some things that took me off plans. This was unintentional that I stopped recording. Clubhouse was a big distraction that led me to, starting to be on Clubhouse more, and ultimately we're going to explore Spotify Green Room. So, don't think I'm not exploring these other platforms, but I had some distractions. I obviously had this marketing business that took me off of the plan, but ultimately it's about getting back on the plan and executing, right? I won't hit the amount of downloads that I wanted to for the podcast, but let's get like half of those, right? I wanted 500,000 downloads. Let's get 250,000. If I can get 250,000, I'm damn happy, right? So it's about getting back on track, not going, I screwed up. I'm not going to hit my goals, right? I had to make the decision. It's about time I get back on track. Let's do this. I set out the plan July 1st. I worked on everything here at the studios to get the studio ready, to get the equipment ready. It's not totally ready. I'm sitting on the floor right now recording this in the closet of our studio, but hey, I'll get the insulation or the soundproofing up on the walls here next week. So we're in the studio, but for right now, we got to do what we got to do. I made that commitment. I made that decision that I was going to bring this podcast back, that I was going to get back on the goal of those downloads for this podcast and providing value to our audience. So I had to make that decision. And once I made the decision, it was all about executing. So guys, make that decision, execute, but you have to make sure that that decision is based upon the data that tells you that this is the right decision. And because once you come up with that data that creates the clarity for you, clarity will bring you confidence, and confidence is what's going to allow you to execute at the highest fucking level. So if you guys are ready to execute at a high level, bring that data around your decisions, be quick on the decisions, eliminate that emotion, and focus on having that confidence behind the decisions that you make. And you will be quick in your decision, and you will execute at a very high level. So guys, let's keep leveling up, and I'll see you guys here for the episode number 2 of Level Up Your Life podcast, season number 2. I'm excited to be back, guys. I can't wait to see you back here for the next episode.